What can we do about this? What can the rank and file Americans do to prevent the full implementation of this agenda?
Well, I would have three recommendations. One is that when the government comes to you and says, hey, that's a nice piece of land you got there. It would be nice if we put a conservation easement on it and we'll give you a tax break. You don't accept it because
say no.
Because what happens is you become a part of this federal nexus, and once you're accepting federal dollars, you're beholden to a lot of other rules and regulations. By the way, this morning, I learned that Mar-a-Lago has a conservation easement on it.
Yeah.
Trump accepted it. He's not able to develop it. He has to keep it in the use that it is now. And that was one of the reasons why the judge valued it at only
it's only worth like $18 or something now, so don't even worry about it.
So that was fascinating. So that's one thing. Like really be cautious about accepting any quote unquote free money from the government. And the second thing is the second thing would be like watch No Farmers, No Food, right? Our documentary.
Yeah.
And understand that because with the documentary, I hope to equip people with the language and the sort of nuanced understanding so that when they hear a politician speaking, especially when a young person hears a politician speaking, they go, oh, I know what's happening here. This sounds nice on paper, but actually underneath, the science probably doesn't back it up. It's part of this agenda to actually take over 30% of the land. It's like I'm not necessarily going to just agree with him wholeheartely because the words sound nice. And by the way, it's a bipartisan issue. It's not just only Democrats. Republicans also push this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess
George W. Bush actually was one of the presidents who introduced Agenda 21 most aggressively at the initial level. I mean, of course, Bill Clinton pushed it further into all the agencies, but HW definitely introduced it hard. So that would be my recommendation. Don't take free money from the government. Watch No Farmers, No Food, and be extremely critical and vote accordingly to what these politicians are saying.
And probably go to your local meetings that would
that's the thing.
On the surface seem boring, but that's where this stuff is being implemented in your local towns and counties. And you've got obviously the documentary No Farmers, No Food, Roman. You've been alluding to some other videos you do. Where can people go to see those things from you?
It's all on Epic TV, epictv.com. We're actually also, if you just want to go straight to the documentary, we're able to snatch up a phenomenal domain, nofarmersnofood.com.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. One last thing. I've been worried about an agenda that, seemed conspiratorial for a long time, and that's one world government. But isn't this just part of that effort?
Wow.
I mean, they're kind of sneaking all of this in through the back door.
I could not agree more with you. In fact, when I started the documentary, basically our teams here at the Epoch Times, we bit off a few different apples. Like somebody did a documentary on ESG. I did a documentary on this. Another group did a documentary on vaccine injuries and the trans ideology in schools. But what we found was it was amazing. The more you pull at these threads, it really all comes down to the same thing: more government control, government having more and more control of our families and our kids' lives. Yeah, it all comes down to that. And you can imagine, okay, more a more centralized, strong control from the top. But if the ideology is that the world is ending unless we actually fix these systemic problems, well, that naturally translates to all these governments getting more power, and then there's a world central government. It sounds conspiratorial, but it's the natural trajectory that we're on.
Absolutely. Roman, thanks a lot. Thanks for all the hard work you do at Epoch Times, and thanks for joining us and waking people up to this situation. Hit us with the website again. It's pretty easy.
NoFarmersNoFood.com.